Welcome back, everybody, to H&J Talk Sports. It is Monday, August 23rd, and Harry is in the car because for some reason he needs a beach trip every 3 weeks. Harry, what's going on, man?
That's right. It's another Monday.
Another Monday. Harry's in the car. Yeah. This is his second beach trip in the past 2 months, but at least this time he decided to come on camera and grace us with his presence.
I can't miss 2 episodes. I used my card for the one, so this time was doable. So
that's
here
true.
I am.
From here on out, you got to be here.
It's dedication.
So as you guys can tell, Harry is laggy. He's on car Wi-Fi. He'll be going in and out, but we're going to get through this together.
Yep.
Before we get into anything, Harry, we need to remind everybody that next week is our West Virginia kickoff special. All West Virginia, full episode. We're going to break down the season, give our predictions for the season, and talk about what we think. So tune into that show. But today we got Steelers versus Detroit. What do you think of that game, Harry? How'd it go?
Went well. I think Big Ben secured himself. Left no questions. He's going to be the starter.
It was up in the air, but yeah.
I think not in the air, but sometimes you got these people that think, oh, he's getting too old. He's not the guy. I think he made sure he's the guy. And then I think the battle for the backup is still going. We'll come down to the last game.
I'm very disappointed. Out of all we've seen, Dwayne Haskins, he's still on third team duties.
Yeah.
He only ended up playing a drive in that game because the Detroit dominated possession in the second half. So he never really got in there.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunate. So we didn't even get to see him.
Next game, we're going to get an answer. So it's probably going to be a half Rudolph, half Haskins because they got to make a decision.
I hope they at least play him first. Someone on Twitter had a funny comment. They said it looked like Haskins is playing like a guy that he knows no matter what he does, he's in the third role.
That might be true.
Which is kind of disappointing because I feel like he's been the better of the two, but he doesn't get a chance in the games.
Yeah, he's been all right. Rudolph has done enough to, like he always does. He looks like a backup.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Rudolph. He looked really good last night, but Rudolph's problem last night and his problem the other 2 games and his problem when he started was he drives down the field, but then he does nothing in the red zone. He still has 0 points.
Yeah.
Rudolph can't beat the red zone.
Well, we've seen when he's the guy that the offense struggles, so I'm not surprised.
I think a lot of people forgot he got replaced by a duck.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's got to say something. I don't know. I guess maybe they're playing. I don't know if they're going to keep all 3. Maybe they're planning on keeping all 3.
I think they'll keep 3. I think you may be right, though. I said before, I thought Dobbs is your third QB no matter what. But I think maybe Dobbs may be out and they keep Haskins as a third.
Yeah. I mean he's shown enough to definitely, I think, keep him around.
Yeah, you'd think. He's looked good, man.
Yeah.
And if Ben goes down from injury, I think you want those 2 guys on your roster.
Definitely. And especially after what happened last year, I think you definitely want to keep Haskins around because you've seen what Rudolph can do.
Yeah, for sure. But Ben looked great last night. That was the big story of the game. He had 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went 8 for 10. He had a perfect passer rating of 158.3. If I were the AFC North, I'd be scared after last night.
Hey man, I'm becoming more optimistic about the season.
I was going to ask because you were down. We need to redo our predictions on our Steelers show. Last night looked good.
Yeah, when we do our preseason, our season preview again for the Steelers. Yeah, I'm feeling a little better because I've been hearing really good things about Melvin Ingram and Najee
looked good last night
looking
too.
really good.
Najee had a huge play last night. Najee had that. I have it written down somewhere. He had like a 46-yard. It was like a 10-yard pass. He turned it into 46 yards. He broke down the outside, breaking ankles. He looked good, man. Again, yeah, 46-yard play.
He's got potential to be one of the best backs in the league this year.
Pat Fairmouth had 2 touchdowns. I might have to learn how to spell his name because I feel like I'm going to be tweeting it a lot this season. That was my story earlier. Ebron has been struggling. I was going to bring this up earlier. One of our earlier shows, we picked two players. I picked a player. You picked a player we thought would have a big year. You picked Terrell Edmonds. I picked Ebron. I feel like both those guys have been non-existent in training camp and in preseason so far. I haven't seen Terrell Edmonds at all. And Ebron, man, he struggled. He looked good later in the game. He made some big catches, but he struggled early. He struggled with blocking. He dropped a good pass from Ben, and then Pat Fairmouth comes out and has two huge touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he might be moving to the 2 spot behind Fairmouth before it's said and done.
Well, Ebron's pretty good receiving tight end. He struggles blocking. Like I said, I've said it before. I mean, Fairmouth can become a pretty good blocker. He could overtake him and get in there by the end of the season.
I mean, I guess a big thing they were talking about the broadcast last night. He prides himself in never dropping a pass, and the story on Ebron is he's dropping passes, and it's continued.
Yeah.
The O-line, I think last night was the first time we've seen all the starters together. They looked really good most of the time. A few of those plays, man, they just collapse completely. It's going to be up and down. Dotson looked really good. I think that was his first game. I don't know if he played a little bit the game before. There was a lot of talk about him being out of shape coming into camp. Tomlin had a comment about how he wasn't the starter, or he hasn't had the reps yet, but they've moved him up the first string, and he dominated last night.
Yeah. It should be interesting. One more game.
Highsmith, Ingram both looked really good last night. Man, when TJ Watt gets in there, that's going to be a nasty line.
Yep.
And the running backs. Does Benny Snell make the team right now?
It's tough to say. I'd say yes.
It sucks for him because he's been hurt, so he hasn't been able to play or practice. But I feel like we've got enough sample size of him the past 3 years where I don't know.
Yeah, his experience in the past, I think, will put him in.
Man, McFarland, Balaj, and Samuels have all been good, though. Who do you cut? You're not keeping 5. I say Samuels or Snell are on the chart. I don't know how you cut McFarland or Balaj. I feel like McFarland's got to be number 2 or moving his way there. He looks really good, and they're running him a lot.
Yeah. Tough decisions.
Yeah.
Why they get paid what they get paid.
Someone's out. Next week we got Carolina. Do we see the starters at all? I think maybe we see a series or 2 with Ben.
I'd be surprised if I don't even know if you'll get to see more than a series. I think a series would be the top.
Yeah. Juju got banged up a little. We'll see if we see him. Hopefully it's nothing serious. I think
you got a big test the first week, so you got to have them healthy.
Yeah. The good thing is you got 2 weeks off because we had that Hall of Fame game. So you have a little break there before game 1. Bills will be tough, though. But man, last game, we'll see. And like I said, 2 weeks from now, we're having our Steelers kickoff special where we'll break everything down and maybe update our predictions now that Harry's positive, a little more positive.
A little more positive. We'll see. I haven't done game by game. This overall feel for the team feels a little better.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get to a little West Virginia before we let you go and drive. Our comments are lit up with people who are convinced West Virginia is going to the ACC, and people are convinced that it's not going to happen.
Well, we are at the same place we've been for the last few weeks.
We are. But what I want to do today is give a little pitch for the ACC. And this is someone, one of our Twitter followers actually hit me up with these numbers. We were having a little chat. So shout out to Twitter if you're not following us on there, H&J Talk Sports. So he hit me with some numbers. This is the 2019 Big 12 average viewership games, not including Texas and Oklahoma. West Virginia averages 1 million, just over 1 million viewers per game. The next highest is Baylor, which is 1 million, about 10,000 less than them. Everyone else in the Big 12 is not even close, really. Iowa State comes a little bit closer with 700,000. So West Virginia, aside from Oklahoma and Big 12, maybe Baylor, is blowing out the viewership ratings in the Big 12. The next stat they hit me with, again, shout out to Twitter. Oklahoma at WVU in 2018 was the third highest rated ESPN Friday Night Football game in history with 5.6 million viewers. Now, as our Twitter follower said, Oklahoma gets a lot of the credit for that. But the number 2 highest rated game in ESPN history, Boston College versus WVU in 1993 with 5.6 million viewers. So one of the knocks against WVU is the market size. Obviously, it's a smaller region, but listen, we put up some TV numbers.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. That helps.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the ACC, you're telling me adding WVU to the ACC and playing some of these teams like freaking WVU versus Pitt, Wake Forest, Boston College, some of these teams, man, if you put WV in there, you're telling me they're not going to do better numbers with West Virginia than they would playing some other teams in that division?
Could be.
Florida State, I mean, come on. There's no way.
Yeah.
I think the market's bigger than people give West Virginia credit. I think you look on a map and you see how small it is and you say, well, there's Maryland and there's Pitt and there's Georgia, and you got all these markets surrounding it. But the TV numbers are there. And I think if you give West Virginia a national market, it's even bigger.
I agree. I think the West Virginia fans are, let me see, how am I trying to word this? I think for them, less fair weather fans, whereas some of these other teams, they're going to follow their teams more if they're only having a really good season.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia, I mean, of course, that's true with West Virginia as well, but I think not to the same extent as some of the other teams.
Yeah, West Virginia fans travel, and especially those big games, you're getting the viewership numbers.
One thing I will say that would be bad about the ACC that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about is most of the ACC games, or a lot of them, are on this ACC network.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear a lot of complaints about when WVU just plays on FS1. So I can only imagine what it'd be like with the ACC network.
Oh, you mean not a lot of people get it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people get it. Not a lot of people are going to want to pay extra for it.
Yeah.
I think that hurts. And, being out there. I'm not sure why the ACC does that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably more money for them.
Yeah.
But I think it hurts your brand being in those networks. Because you're not out there. Like when you're on ESPN, everybody's going to watch you. More people are going to watch you. It's easier for people to access the game. When you're playing a lot of your league games and the ACC network, you're going to have an issue. That could be an issue that hurts the program later on.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong there. But despite that, we do those numbers. So even though everyone complains about the channel and it's FS1 or if it's this and it's extended programming, we're still averaging 1 million, which is, almost double what these other teams in the Big 12 are doing per game.
Yeah.
So despite that, and other things, that's just viewership. Upgraded, Neil Brown's been showcasing the upgraded facilities in the football arena, the state-of-the-art facilities they just added to there. He's revamping the whole program. We have the top 20 recruiting class in 22, West Virginia's highest ranked recruiting class ever. I saw someone do a post about, there's a lot of talk about the education standards at WVU, but apparently if you would add WVU to the ACC, we would have the third highest number of laureates in the whole entire ACC. So I think a lot of people knock it because of the whole Big East, that whole thing where we couldn't get in or it was late or whatever was going on. But I really don't think it's the same.
Yeah.
I don't think we're a lock by any means. I don't think they got an invitation, but I think we're better off. And I think something's in the work. I mean, we've talked a lot about the way the athletic directors talked Nico Markiel letting something slip on the radio. I don't know if it's the ACC, but I think they got something going on.
Could be. Hopefully we get some news. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing pressing. It could be, you could get news in a couple of weeks, could be a couple months, maybe not even for a year or two.
Yeah.
It
could be a while. Yeah, we don't know. I mean,
depends on how quick Oklahoma and Texas get out of the Big 12. Depends on the urgency of the stuff.
What will be interesting with all the stuff going on with the alliance between the Pac-12 and the SEC and that alliance, and with the SEC, we may not hear anything about West Virginia, but I would imagine you'd hear the Big 12 trying to do something soon, because right now they're sitting on their hands.
Well,
whether if it's a partnership, whether it's trying to get more teams, whether I don't know what the Big 12 is going to do, but if they want to survive, they're going to have to do something, or they're about to either die completely or they're about to become one of these conferences that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah. I don't know how much they can do. I think they're pretty much on life support right now. Well,
the alliance that they're not included in sure doesn't help them any.
No, I agree. I think that hurts.
It does. So that made it look grimmer for them.
Maybe somehow, I don't know, there's a push for the ACC to get to 16 teams. And
well, hey, even, with the alliance, if the Big 12 folds, there's a lot of teams, and you're going to have the ACC and the Pac-12 and the Big 10. Maybe they all add some teams.
Yeah. What would help what might actually help us if these other conferences if the Pac-12 adds a couple of the Big 12 teams and the Big 10 adds a couple of the Big 12 teams, that could help the ACC and push them to add.
Yeah, so maybe in the end, this partnership will be good because it'll create a thing where you absorb all these teams evenly. It gives them all a place to go, especially teams like you think Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Baylor. I mean, Baylor just won the national championship. They got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, the partnership also, I mean, it protects them from having to make a move, because they're guaranteeing themselves.
Yeah. They're protecting themselves from any shenanigans.
Yeah. Again, guaranteeing themselves a way into the playoffs, guaranteeing having certain rivalries, keeping certain games.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Man, right when our show's about to wrap up, Harry gets super good quality internet.
Yeah.
Oh, I spoke too soon. You froze again. Never mind.
Alabama for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we won't keep you too much longer, Harry. You got a fun, exciting car ride ahead of you. I think we covered all important stuff this week. Next week is our West Virginia kickoff special where we cover West Virginia. We'll go over our predictions for every game. We'll go over the roster. It should be a very exciting time. So tune into that. You guys don't want to miss that one for sure. And subscribe if you haven't. Harry, we got a lot of subscribers this week.
Yeah, thanks. It was a big week.
You guys blew it up, man. We appreciate it. Hit the notification bell too. If you subscribe, that's good. But hit the notification bell so you know when our videos come out. We want you tuning in ASAP. Keep them coming. And if you're not following us, for all new subscribers, if you want to follow us on social media, Twitter or Instagram, H&J Talk Sports. It's the same on both.
All right.
Go follow us on Twitter so you can hit me with more interesting stats, like our friends that did it for this show. Hey, they set up that whole segment. Without them, I wouldn't have had it. Because I'm too lazy to do the research myself. So thank you.
Last week without football, last non-game week we have.
It's hard to believe. We've been doing this for like 5 months with no sports. Well, we had hockey the first 2 months.
We literally started right after football. Yeah.
Right after it ended, we had some hockey. The Penguins decided to ruin our momentum with that first round loss. So we just been dogging it, but it's almost over. One more show, and then we'll have football for the next 5-6 months straight.
Good times.
Yep. You got a nice tan going on.
Good times ahead.
Good times ahead.
I try.
When do I get my beach break?
Well, I invited you, but you didn't come. So
that's true. I'm an asshole.
H&J Talk Sports could have been on location this year.
On location at the beach. We'll do location sometime. Maybe in Vegas.
We'll see.
From the Venetian Sportsbook, H&J Talk Sports. Don't say anything if you want that to happen. I'll take that as a yes. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. Comment down below. Right. Tell Harry what a piece of shit he is for going to the beach all the time. Well, the rest of us are here. Subscribe, like, tune in next week. West Virginia kickoff special next Monday. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See you.